Hello and welcome to Prepspot. In this video we are going to know about a fascinating and highly unusual event that has captured global attention and stirred up discussions in political science, cultural studies, and current affairs, the so-called Pikachu protest in Turkey. On 27 March 2025, during a wave of anti-government protests in Antalya, Turkey, a protester dressed in an inflatable Pikachu costume was filmed fleeing from police. This striking image, combining popular culture with political dissent, has become a viral symbol of the ongoing protests against the arrest of Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu, a prominent opposition figure whose detention has further intensified public anger against President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's administration. To understand this phenomenon, it's important to first consider the broader context of the protests in Turkey. Over the past few years, Turkey has experienced significant political turmoil, largely driven by long-standing dissatisfaction with the current government's policies and actions. President Erdogan, who has been in power for over 2 decades, has faced mounting criticism for his perceived authoritarian measures, particularly following the arrest of opposition leaders like Ekrem İmamoğlu. İmamoğlu, a popular figure who won the mayoral election in 2019 by defeating the candidate from Erdogan's ruling party, is seen by many as a beacon of democratic hope. His arrest on charges including corruption, bribery, misconduct, and allegations of supporting terrorism, which many critics argue are politically motivated, triggered widespread protests across the country. On 27 March 2025, as tensions escalated, thousands of protesters took to the streets of Antalya. The incident that set social media abuzz occurred when a protester, choosing to embody an unexpected symbol from the world of anime, donned an inflatable Pikachu costume. Pikachu, a globally recognized character from the Pokémon series, is typically associated with joy and playful energy. However, in this instance, it became an emblem of dissent, illustrating how protesters can repurpose elements of popular culture to communicate their frustration and mobilize support. The image of the Pikachu-costumed individual evading police action quickly spread online, amplified by millions of shares and retweets, and has since been widely discussed across various digital platforms. This incident not only underscores the innovative ways in which protesters in Turkey are using creative tactics to draw attention to their cause, but also highlights the power of digital media in today's socio-political landscape. Social media platforms have transformed how protests are organized and how their messages are disseminated. In this case, the use of an anime character, a symbol beloved by millions around the world, added a layer of satire and irony to the protests, making the event memorable and engaging for younger audiences, while also drawing international attention to the political crisis in Turkey. Now, let's consider the historical and cultural dimensions of this unrest. Turkey, with its unique position straddling both Europe and Asia, has a rich and complex history. Under President Erdogan, there has been a notable shift towards centralizing power and curtailing dissent, a trend that has been evident since the 2016 coup attempt and the subsequent purges. Many Turks see these measures as undermining democratic freedoms and eroding the secular, pluralistic foundations of the state. The protests, therefore, are not merely about the arrest of a single political figure. They represent a broader rejection of what is perceived as authoritarian rule and a call for a return to democratic principles and respect for civil liberties. In the case of the Pikachu protest, the symbolism is particularly potent. The protesters' choice of costume reflects a clever fusion of popular culture and political activism. By adopting the guise of Pikachu, the protester was not just making a statement against government repression but was also appealing to a global audience familiar with the character's iconic status. This blending of cultural symbols with political protest is indicative of how modern dissent can transcend traditional methods and communicate its message in new, unexpected ways. The events that led up to this incident are deeply rooted in the political landscape of Turkey. Ekrem İmamoğlu's arrest on 19 March 2025 marked the turning point. His detention was widely viewed as a preemptive move by the government to suppress opposition ahead of the 2028 presidential election. In the days following his arrest, protests erupted not only in Istanbul, where İmamoğlu had significant support, but also in other major cities like Ankara and Izmir, and even in smaller cities like Antalya. The widespread nature of these protests underscores the broad-based discontent among the population. When the Pikachu incident occurred in Antalya, it symbolized the innovative spirit of the protest movement and demonstrated how even humorous, seemingly lighthearted acts can carry a powerful political message. It is also important to discuss the police response and the subsequent government actions. In response to the escalating protests, security forces deployed a range of measures, including tear gas, water cannons, and rubber bullets. Despite these efforts, the protests continued to grow, highlighting the intensity of public opposition. The government's heavy-handed response has drawn criticism from human rights organizations and international observers alike, who argue that such measures only serve to further alienate the public and undermine the democratic process. In this climate of heightened tension, every symbolic act such as the Pikachu protest becomes magnified, resonating far beyond the immediate context of the local demonstrations. Beyond the immediate events, this protest raises several important questions for us to consider. What does the Pikachu protest say about the role of culture in political expression? How do traditional political symbols and modern cultural icons intersect in the age of social media? And what are the implications of this incident for the future of political dissent in Turkey and beyond? For competitive exam aspirants, these questions are crucial as they touch upon key themes in international relations, cultural studies, and political science. The integration of popular culture into protest movements is a relatively recent development, driven by the ubiquitous presence of digital media and the global connectivity it enables. In countries like Turkey, where political dissent can sometimes be met with severe repression, the use of cultural symbols like Pikachu offers a way to express resistance in a manner that is both creative and subversive. This approach not only captures the attention of the international media but also engages a younger demographic that is increasingly influential in shaping public discourse. The Pikachu protest is therefore a microcosm of broader trends in how political protests are evolving in the digital age, combining humor, cultural references, and sophisticated digital networks to create a powerful, resonant message. Historically, Turkey has experienced a number of significant political upheavals, and the current protests are part of a continuum of public dissent that stretches back decades. The pro-monarchy protests, for instance, have their roots in the deep historical and cultural ties that many Turkish citizens have with the country's monarchical past. For some, the call for the restoration of the monarchy is not just about politics, it is about reclaiming a sense of identity and continuity that they feel has been lost in the modern era. These historical sentiments, coupled with contemporary grievances over economic hardship and political repression, create a volatile mix that fuels these protests. At the heart of the Pikachu protest is a powerful statement about freedom of expression. The right to protest is a fundamental element of democratic society, and the ability to do so creatively is a testament to the resilience of civil society even in the face of government crackdowns. The use of an inflatable Pikachu costume, with its bright yellow color and instantly recognizable design, transforms a conventional protest into a viral spectacle, capturing the imagination of people around the world. This incident demonstrates that protest can take many forms, sometimes humorous, sometimes provocative, and that the symbols we choose to represent our dissent can have a profound impact on public perception and media coverage. From a technical standpoint, the logistics of the protest and the subsequent police response also provide valuable insights into modern protest tactics and state security measures. The fact that thousands of protesters gathered in multiple cities across Turkey, and that the Pikachu incident was captured and disseminated widely via social media, speaks to the high level of organization and connectivity among the protesters. Digital platforms, with their ability to rapidly share information and mobilize support, have fundamentally transformed the nature of political dissent. In the case of Turkey, these platforms have allowed protesters to bypass traditional media channels, which are often subject to state control, and instead create their own narratives that can resonate on a global scale. In discussing the implications of the Pikachu protest, we must also consider the potential long-term effects on Turkey's political landscape. The protests, which have now become a symbol of opposition to President Erdogan's government, could have significant ramifications for future elections. Opposition parties, already emboldened by the arrest of key figures like Ekrem İmamoğlu, may leverage the momentum from these protests to push for greater political reforms and to challenge the status quo. However, the government's response, characterized by heavy-handed security measures and the suppression of dissent, also risks further polarizing society and deepening the divides between different segments of the population. Internationally, the Pikachu protest has also attracted attention because it encapsulates a broader trend of how cultural and political narratives are intertwined in the digital age. As political movements around the world grapple with issues of democracy, human rights, and the impact of technology, incidents like the Pikachu protest serve as vivid examples of how unconventional methods can be used to convey powerful messages. This has implications not only for Turkey but for other countries where political expression is evolving in response to the digital revolution. Looking ahead, the evolution of protest tactics, as illustrated by the Pikachu protest, will likely continue to influence political discourse and activism worldwide. As more people, particularly young people, engage with politics through digital platforms, the role of cultural symbols in protest will become even more pronounced. For those preparing for competitive exams, understanding these dynamics is essential, as questions related to the intersection of culture, politics, and technology are increasingly common in subjects like current affairs, international relations, and political science. In summary, the Pikachu protest in Turkey on 27 March 2025 represents a unique convergence of popular culture and political activism. It serves as a potent symbol of resistance against authoritarian practices and highlights the creative ways in which protesters can articulate their dissent. This incident, occurring against the backdrop of larger anti-government protests sparked by the arrest of Ekrem İmamoğlu, offers us a window into the complex socio-political landscape of Turkey today. It raises critical questions about the nature of protest, the role of digital media in shaping public opinion, and the enduring influence of historical and cultural legacies on contemporary politics. As we analyze this event, it is crucial to consider not only the immediate impact of the protests and the government's response but also the broader implications for the future of political activism. The Pikachu protest is a reminder that political dissent can be both a serious expression of democratic discontent and a creative, cultural phenomenon that transcends traditional boundaries. It challenges us to think about how symbols and media can be harnessed to effect change and how governments might adapt to a new era of digital, decentralized activism. Furthermore, the incident underscores the importance of understanding the regional context. Turkey's political and cultural landscape is shaped by its unique history, its strategic location between Europe and Asia, and its complex relationships with both Western and Eastern powers. The ongoing tensions between traditional values and modern democratic aspirations in Turkey are emblematic of broader global trends, making this case an invaluable study for those interested in international politics and contemporary governance. In conclusion, the Pikachu protest not only offers a striking visual and symbolic representation of political dissent in Turkey but also encapsulates the multifaceted challenges facing modern societies in balancing state authority, democratic freedoms, and cultural expression. It is an event that will undoubtedly be discussed in academic circles, media analysis, and competitive exam syllabi for years to come. I encourage all of you to consider the deeper implications of such events, how they relate to broader political theories and historical developments, and what they might mean for the future of political activism in an increasingly digital world. Answer this question in comments. The correct answer will be given hot and pinned. Lastly, we just want to let you know that we are a newly emerging online platform for competitive exams. Creating educational explainer videos like these requires a lot of effort, money, and time. If you like these videos and want us to excel and create videos in all categories of competitive exams, then you can consider supporting us with a one-time donation through the Ko-fi platform and also by becoming a member through Patreon. This will help us create more such informative educational videos in the competitive exams space. So, one last time, subscribe and share this channel with all your friends who are preparing for competitive exams. And also, follow us on social media platforms. The links are given in the About section of the channel and also in the video description. So, see you in the next video.